Yo, what's good? How's it going? Look, I'm glad you're here. My name is Albert Williams III, and welcome back to the Uncommon Legend Experience. And today we have another guest. I have our friend Tyler McDowell. Tyler is a good friend of ours, really a good friend of my wife, Kat, and she's pretty awesome. Tyler, tell us about yourself and just a couple of things about you.
Hey, my name is Tyler. I grew up in Mississippi and met Kat, your wife, through Ole Miss. We went to college together
That school up
and
north.
we graduated together. And I live in Knoxville, Tennessee now, and I work in marketing. And yeah, that's pretty much the normal stuff, the basis. I'm a cat mom.
Yes, yes, Cat mom.
Yeah, that's really an important identity marker for me.
Yes, absolutely. Cat all the time is like, man, are we so cute? I'm like, man, we can't have a cat in this house. I would die. My allergies are actually really bad. Yeah, yeah. She goes, but you didn't like. There are certain cats I can be around, and I think it's specific to the cat. Like, if there's a cat that just, I guess, if they're like really clean, I think I can be around them. Because
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember Alex, her cat Daisy. She was, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it depends on the cat,
Y'all have
but
those dogs too. Y'all already have a lot
yeah,
going on.
we have enough kids.
Yeah, enough
These
for
dogs. Good Lord. And if you are a dog or a cat parent, bless you, because it is hard out here in these streets where you're like, oh, I have to go to the hospital for you. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I
So
need a separate savings account for you.
just for you, like
Yeah,
I need an HSA for
yeah,
you.
for
Like
you.
it's
It
crazy
is
work
like, a child on a lower level, but,
for sure. For sure. Well, so you and Kat went to Ole Miss, like I said, the school
Mhm.
up north, and you have since, done quite a few things. Like, didn't you do an internship in like England or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us
I
about that.
um, so I knew I wanted to go abroad again because I went
Hmm.
abroad with Kat,
Yeah.
and it was really funny because we didn't really know each other very well. I remember it was like we had a mutual friend, and
Hmm.
she introduced us in a Starbucks on campus at Ole Miss, and this would have been
20.
2018, 2019, maybe, yeah. And we got to talking, and I think she had asked, I might be misremembering, but I think she had asked me, or maybe I brought it up that I was looking to study abroad. I was originally going to go to Japan with a friend, and then my friend dropped out, and I was like, well, okay, what do I do? Because I knew I wanted to go abroad, but I was still a little too nervous to do it by myself. And
Hmm.
so I think I had mentioned it to Kat just in passing, and she was like, well, I want to study abroad. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, do you want to go together? And she's like, yeah, like, where do you want to go? And I was like, I don't know, where do you want to go? And then she was like, Paris sounds cool. And I was like, cool, let's go.
That
And
is
we
the
didn't
most
know each
Catherine thing.
other. We did not know each other. Like, we got to know each other in France,
Right.
which, like, thinking back now as an adult, I'm like, that's wild because I fully just decided I'm going to live with this stranger for like 3 months. We got to know each other a little bit before then, but it really wasn't until Paris that
Hmm.
we became friends.
Right.
Mm. So after that, I got the travel bug because we had just such a phenomenal time.
Mm.
England was always on my radar, and for my degree, I had to have an internship to graduate, and I could have done it anywhere. They really didn't care, but I was like, well, I don't I don't have to do it here.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it in the US.
Right.
I connected with this program that connects with businesses around the world who are open to interns, international interns. And yeah, they got me hooked up with a public relations company in central London. And, I did the whole interview process and the application, and then I got accepted. And that June, I think I had left and I was in London. And it was really weird because this was not long after, I think this was 2021.
Hmm. Hmm.
So COVID stuff was still happening and that was off.
Yeah.
And I had to quarantine for 2 weeks before I could like go out about in London. I was
Wow.
just like quarantined in an Airbnb, which was fine. The Airbnb was lovely and I could get all the things that I needed, but overall it was a wonderful time. Definitely one of the best. summers of my life alongside
Man.
Paris.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really fun. It taught me a lot about how to I grew up a lot in London and in Paris too. I think going to any foreign country really teaches you how to be independent and take risks. It's probably
Yeah.
the biggest thing I got out of both of those trips.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I've actually only been, other than the cruise, like last year, I've only been out of the country once, and I was on a mission trip this past year.
Mm.
And that was like for real being out of the country, because it's not like, oh, let's go back to, the boat that is like U.S. territory.
Yeah.
But like, no, we are in the Dominican Republic. There are no Americans. Like,
Yeah.
it is us. And like the craziest thing, like in a more recent episode I did with Donna Bearden, who is the missionary down there, it's just talking about it, how, I'm in a group with like majority white folks. And then we're in the Dominican Republic where everybody looks like me. Like, everybody looks like me.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about like, oh, they're light skinned. No, they dark as me. They
Mhm.
walk up to me and they was like, hey, yo, and I was like, no Espanol. I am not fluent enough to have a conversation. Like, I can do
Wow.
enough to get by. Like, if I need to
Yeah.
get somewhere, or if I need to ask your name, how old you are, like kind of what you do,
Yeah.
what you need, like I can do that. There was a time where I was on another mission trip, but it was stateside. It was in Brunswick, Georgia, about
Mm.
2.5. No, 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 not even 2.5. About an hour and a half to 2 hours south of us, and there was a gentleman who spoke like no English, and I was just trying to help him. His tire, he was trying to get his car off the ground, and I had been in a situation like this where the car fell off the jack, and so it's like basically, I think it's like your axle, like that's on the ground because your tire's off. Like
Yeah.
the tire's, out yonder. It is the
Yeah.
car, so it's the frame of the car, and pushing down on that. So it's not good. So I just go and deadlift the car off the ground because, I'm young and spry. My back doesn't hurt that day. But like it's a scary situation. But other than that, I can't really help you. But I think that's a really good point. You grow up a lot in a foreign country. Like you recognize, oh, I don't know as much as I think I do, especially not about this place.
Mhm.
So let me kind of take inventory. Let me learn from people.
Mhm.
Uh, what would you say about that, like in terms of like your personal growth? Because you've gone out of the country a few more times since then.
Mhm.
So kind of how has travel, taught you to just be more, I guess, spatially aware of things?
I mean, I have to learn a lot from watching other people, being
Mm,
extremely observant, but I also realized that I used to have this thing where I would like never ask for help because I didn't want
mm,
any that I was dumb.
yeah.
Do that in a foreign country.
No.
Honey, you just ask. You gotta ask, baby. There's no other way.
Hmm.
And I got to that point, and now I'm very good about that. 'Cause I especially in France, like, I was so scared. I mean, I knew a decent amount of the language, but it's always frightening when because you think they're gonna judge you if you say something wrong or whatever. But realistically, like, they're just happy that you're trying, and a lot of them are more than happy to help if you do try. And so just realizing that it's okay to not know what you're doing, and it's okay to ask for help. And 9 times out of 10, it's really not that it doesn't bother the other people that much.
Right.
It wouldn't bother me if I was, I don't know, at the post office here in the US and, someone not from there had to ask for help on how to get stamps or something. Like, it would take
Hmm.
inside of my day to help them. And I've realized that more because I really had to do that a lot in France and England. And I've been to Korea a number of times as well, which is extraordinarily different. So, yeah, just realizing that I don't have to know everything on the planet and it's okay to ask for help. And most of the time, people are really eager to help. They're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think those are valuable lessons.
Hmm.
Like I think we could glean a lot from that. Like, yes, it
Hmm.
is okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really awesome. I think like, gosh, Kat loves to travel,
Hmm.
and I think you influenced that a good bit. We've been on a decent amount of trips together,
Yeah.
and afterwards she was like, I can't wait until our next trip.
Yeah,
Like, we just got off this one. What do you
wow,
mean? Like,
we just
it's so
yeah.
funny because, like, we go on these trips and then, like, we have a good time. And then I don't know about you, but I always need like a break from like the break of a trip because it's like, okay,
Mhm,
I need like a day or two or three to like
mhm.
recover because of all the going around doing stuff.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize like, your rest and getting back into a routine after you travel and do stuff?
Oh my gosh. I don't wanna see anyone for, like, 48 hours if I can.
Yeah,
So now I'm a working adult, so sometimes I just have to get to work.
right.
But, 'cause my friends will always be eager to see me, and they wanna hear all about the trip, and I'm like, "No, I
Mm-mm.
need 48 hours
Yeah,
to sit. I gotta go get groceries. I need to sit with my cat and tell him how much I love him and apologize
yes.
for leaving him." And, like, yeah, I spend a lot of time at home, and I just don't want to see anyone for a little bit.
Mm,
Mm. So, yeah, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed with the trip, and then especially if it's international and you're dealing with the jet lag and
mm,
have to come back, and now all of a sudden you're back on the grind of seeing people, going to work, doing all your errands. It can be a lot of
right.
your body and mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. That
Mhm.
is 100% it. Yeah. So yeah, uh, with adulting and all the things, what are some lessons that you've kind of learned in the transition into adulting?
Some lessons into adulting. Well, kind of branching off my lessons from like studying abroad, don't be afraid to look stupid and ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be a big thing for me. Just where I used to be really subconscious of people, what they thought of me, or if they thought that I didn't know enough or was dumb or whatever. But in adulthood, you really just need to ask for help when you need it. And it's okay if people judge you or think that you're, because there's so much, like, logistical things to adulthood that we don't talk about, right? Like,
Right.
taxes and payrolls and bills that there's no class for that. Like,
There
they
is
don't
no class. No.
high school or even in college, like, this is what a W-2 looks like. This is what health insurance. Oh my god.
Yes. Me. Don't even get me started.
Yeah, we don't need to
Don't even
branch.
get me started on health insurance
Yeah.
and all those things. Like, it's like, oh, I now have to pay to go to the hospital. Great, cool. My mom and dad can't do it for me anymore. Sick. You mean to tell me that's what the insurance was for all this time?
Yeah, like, I
Yeah.
gotta pay a copay, and then what is a deductible? What is an out-of-pocket?
What if out of pocket maximum?
I
Like, I thought that was the no. Your
know.
deductible is the and you're out of pocket. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. None of it makes any sense, and it's infuriating. It still doesn't make sense. Like, I know what's going on now, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you like it anymore.
Yeah, so and I had to, like, do independent research for that because they don't teach you any of that, and I have to ask people for help, like, now, especially I remember when I started going to the doctor for the first time by myself, and they'd
Mm,
be like, "What's your group ID number?" or something, and I used to really panic about it, and now I'm like,
yeah.
"Girl, I don't know. I don't let me how do I find that on my card?" I
Let
just
me refer to my card. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, "Let me," and I've just developed this new skill of saying, "Hey, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what you mean." Like,
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather do that than, pretend like I know what's going on and then get it completely wrong. I think that's probably more embarrassing.
Mm,
So adulthood has definitely told me it's okay to not know everything on the planet. You're just not, and nobody
yeah.
does, and that's okay. And even if you do make a fool of yourself, like, who cares? Most of the time, it's a stranger that you're never going to see again. Like,
Mm,
genuinely, who cares what they think?
yeah.
So yeah, and I would say too the what I've learned most recently as a new divorcee, because I was married for just over 2 years, and then it
Mm,
unexpectedly unraveled and separation happened recently. That has definitely taught me that, life can take many different routes and
right.
you have to go with it. You can take your time to grieve and grapple with the changes, but ultimately life keeps going and you never know what's going to happen. You can't plan anything, that's for sure. Like, you can try to, but
You try. Yeah.
life and God might have different things sorted out for you, and you just have to take them as they come.
Yeah. Gosh, you say that, and it reminds me. So I took a class this past semester called God and Evil, and I've been trying to articulate this more and more when I talk to people. So I had to read this book, and I might have it right here on me. But there is this book called The Will of God, and it's mixed in all of these, so I'm probably not going to find it. But there's this little tiny book called The Will of God, and it was written in like the 1940s, like in the midst of World War II. And it was a very interesting read because it kind of works through the will of God and what that actually means. You know, a lot of times it's like, oh, if it's the will of God, and then it's like something really bad. And it's like, it gets into the minutia or the murky waters of like, why does bad thing happen to good people, or the other statement of everything happens for a reason. And he talks about, is that necessarily the case? And so he talks about the circumstantial, and the ultimate will of God. And that's a whole other route. A long story short, it gets into this big word called theodicy, which is just literally why bad things happen to good people. Why does evil exist if God is good? All these different things. And he talks about, like at the end of the day, a lot of times we have to recognize that we're trying to understand God's will when in reality we don't, and we won't. And we will understand partially, but not in totality. Like, even if you're the most spiritual, the most well read, you really just don't know. You are at the mercy of your limit of being a human. And that's what we find out is that, you know what? I really don't need to know everything if I'm confident in who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm called to do. No, I don't think this was supposed to happen, but because it did, how might I grow from this? How might I lean into to that support system? Because it's like you find out who your friends really are. You
Mhm.
find out just how much people really love you and care about you. It's like when Kat was telling me, and I was like, get out, go see your friend, like go do what you got to do, right? My only concern was you were not driving 6 hours. I think that was my only thing. I was like, "You're gonna get on a plane because your knee" for those of you who don't know, my wife just had knee surgery, a few months ago, and I was like, "You are not driving 6 hours because you will hurt." Like, that is the only reason why. So she would just be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like you find out like who people really are, how much they care about you, on all the things. And it's like I told Kat, I was like, I'm pretty sure she talked to me, was like, look, you're always welcome, like you're always more than welcome to be here. And that's kind of what our house has become, in certain places and certain seasons has become a safe haven for people. And don't get me wrong, I love my little space here. As you can see, all my nerd things back there and all my books, and then I have all the Funko Pops like over here in this area. But even still, it's like, if I gotta give this room up, for somebody to have a couple of days of, respite, so be it. Like it's like one of those things where it's we all go through something, like, and we all have, difficult things in life, or just circumstances and situations that we just don't understand. And the best thing I can do is just be present, and I think like that presence really matters. And then, and you making yourself available to that presence really matters too.
Yeah.
Cause now you get to just, rest in that. And I think that's really powerful.
Mhm. Yeah, and Kat she was such a godsend.
Yeah.
She moved, 'cause she came down that weekend that I moved
Hmm.
out of my ex-husband's house,
Hmm.
and I got my own place and everything, and that was to have her was so, so lovely. I
Yeah.
can't express enough, like, how much I needed that and how much I
Hmm.
needed to see her. Um, and you're right, like, you really do. When you start going through these hard things in life, you do find out who your friends are, and thankfully, I have a wonderful group of friends that are always available to call, because I really relied on them a lot.
Yeah.
I know, because I remember calling Kat, like, very late at night,
Yeah.
and thankfully, I have a good group of friends in Knoxville, and I just, like, sought shelter with them. Like, I just
Hmm.
ran to friends, and that was a very natural thing for me. Um, I think I'm I've become good at understanding when I need my people,
Mm,
and thankfully, my people are always there when I need them.
yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, to kind of transition us into the next part of our conversation. So, in the recent months, you've gotten pretty, I'd say, acquainted with content creating and, creating content and doing all the things. And like, what has that been like for you? Also, that one little video of you and Arby like blew up too. And I was like,
Yeah,
what the
that was
heck?
weird. Yeah. So Arby is my cat who I've had for just maybe 2 months now, a little
Hmm.
over 2 months, and, yeah, I did that cute little video, and, it did it on TikTok really, yeah, TikTok and, like, Instagram, and I had Newsweek reach out to me because they wanted
Wow.
to do it, and I don't know the full it's like Dodo something,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
do, like, feel-good videos, and they reached out to
Right.
me. And I emailed them back earlier in the week. But yeah, it's really just like a hobby. I don't intend to become like a full-time content creator or anything. I think that's probably really hard. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe enjoy it less if it was like my full-time job.
Hmm.
But I've always enjoyed it. And that was another thing like with adulthood. And I think I'm still struggling to get over that a little bit. But like doing things that I love, despite the fact that some people might judge or think it's weird.
Yeah.
Think a lot of people have I don't know, or they just think it's, like, stupid or, like, why is
Yeah.
this person making this content or whatever.
Mm,
Ultimately, I'm not making this content for you, I'm making this for me. I genuinely enjoy it, and I've always enjoyed it too, like, that's the
right.
crazy part is ever since I was really young, I always had a camera in my hand. I was always
Mm,
taking photos, always taking videos. I didn't know what to do with it at the time, but I enjoyed
yeah.
it, which is and I always enjoyed storytelling, which is why I was always into creative writing, and then, my whole degree was in journalism, which is
Right.
storytelling. And it took a long time for me to finally just get over this hurdle of like being embarrassed about it and just posting what I enjoy.
Mm,
So I really didn't start doing it until, I mean, maybe a year ago, like
right.
seriously a year ago. And now I'm actually like being more serious about it and more consistent. And it's something really fun to do in my free time rather than sitting on my phone and scrolling or watching
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Netflix show. It keeps me really productive and it keeps me creative and
Mm,
imaginative. So I think I've made big strides in like posting what I want and not caring about what people might think of me. But there are still days where I'm like, ah, that's stupid, or like someone's gonna have, I don't know, an opinion about that or something.
right.
And that's hard to and that'll probably happen forever where you'll have those
Yeah.
moments of self-doubt or, shyness, I suppose.
Mm,
But I'm trying to overcome that.
right.
I'm trying, and I'm enjoying it. I am. And I've made oh my gosh, I don't know if I ever told you. Um, I can't remember if I told Kat. This was another big moment that reinforced this idea of like, you need to do what you wanna do. You
Mm,
live life for you because you don't know what you're gonna get out of it. Part of my social media is I do, like, book talk stuff. I'm
yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
I love talking about books and reviewing them, and TikTok has such a great book community. Like, it's
Yes, it
just
does.
and the way you could get recommendations and have, like, entire chats with people in the comments, it's so fun. So I started doing that, I mean, within this last year.
Hmm.
The craziest thing, I got a message from Hyatt Hotel, and they said, "Hey, we're having this book event in Gatlinburg, Tennessee," which is, like, an hour from me.
Yeah.
We would love to have a local content creator there. Are you interested?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, "What is this?" And they said, "It's glamping. It's a glamping event. It's a partnership between Penguin Random House and Hyatt
My gosh.
Glamping Company."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Is this fake?
Yeah. Like, are you serious right now?
Am I gonna
Yeah.
get trafficked while I'm there? Like, what's
Yeah.
happening?" I don't
Hey,
know.
these are questions you have to ask.
Yeah, these are questions. And I did research and it was a real thing, and they were inviting, an author, her name is Ali Condi, to the event because she just published a new book this year, and I accepted the invitation, and I got to go on a glamping adventure in the Smoky Mountains,
Wow.
3 days, and I got to meet Ali Condi and have all these great
Wow.
conversations, and people from Hyatt, people from Penguin Random House were there. It was just the coolest thing, and I was like,
What is happening?
I
Yeah.
could have never, and I especially because 'cause I'm a small creator. I'm not like I don't have
Yeah.
tons of people. It was just the fact that I was a content creator, I liked books, and I lived in Knoxville, and that's who they
Yeah.
were looking for.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those weird things. I was like, "Man, okay, so this isn't stupid. Like,
No.
really great things can come out of this, and
Wow.
this is" you know? So, yeah, we're on that journey right now, and really
Yeah.
things have happened since then.
Wow, that is really awesome. Congrats, proud of you. That
Thank
that's really cool, and it's one of those things like you just really just never know.
you.
I've found myself being in very odd places
Mm,
because of like, and you kind of touched on it earlier, taking that risk. It's like one of those things, right? If I gamble on myself, if I just make this investment on me and just do the thing, what might come from it? And once we do that, we find ourselves being pleasantly surprised, like, oh, wow, I didn't know this could happen, but here we are. And, I've done that in so many different places. Like when I was, cheerleader in college, I got to go to this like whole infinity, it was the inaugural infinity competition championship, whatever. And Infinity is a shoe brand of like cheerleading.
what?
And my buddies was like, "Hey, you wanna come to this?" And, like, they're really good, and I was okay, like, I was,
Mhm.
like, the best on my team, but I was like, once I step outside my team, I'm not the best anymore.
Mm,
But it was like, "You know what? Let me just go ahead and do it." And, I met, like, basically, like, some cheer A-listers,
mm,
and, like, people from Morehead State and, UCF of all places.
wow.
Right there in New Orleans, and we went, and it was, like, actually, like, a whole documentary because it was the inaugural thing, and it was, like, a whole, like, movie on Apple TV, like, it was, like, nuts.
Yeah.
Same thing with, like, me being in ministry and, I found myself in just, like, very interesting little places, like, I got invited to, like, this whole ecumenical forum, which is just a fancy word for saying, interfaith. That's all it is, just all the denominations of Christianity coming together to talk about, how to continue working together and, fighting the good fight, right?
Yeah.
Going to that was just like so crazy because I ended up being put on the panel of young ecumenists, and I was like, "Why am I here?" And they was like, "Well, you're young, and you're an ecumenist because you're at an ecumenical forum, so you kind of fit the description." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then like now, even being at Candler, is like a whole thing. Like, truthfully, I've never gotten a GPA this good ever. Like, I've
Mhm.
never gotten a 3.7 in a semester. And so, and Kat was like the main proponent of that, not even gonna lie. Like full transparency. She was the one going, you need to transfer. You need to go to Candler. You need to go to that school specifically because it's gonna help you be what you want to be. It's gonna help you get the education, get to your goals and all the things. But it's like every single time, you take that risk and you feel stupid and you feel absolutely afraid, and all these opportunities pop up. And just there I have like tons of examples of like me being afraid to do something and then, it actually panning out and becoming good. So it's really good that you did that because like that's awesome, Like, and I think like one of the other things is like, it's not like gatekeeping and not jealousy. It's just like you're just doing the thing. Like, like you're not like I wish I had this like you're just you know what, I'm just gonna do what I want.
Yeah,
And
it's
now
just
you
fun.
yeah, yeah.
It's fun, and one of my big things that I really like to do with in my city, I use TikTok a lot to highlight new businesses,
Mhm.
and those tend to be, like, the biggest videos that blow up.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes me so happy because then these people because TikTok is very good about local audience.
Mhm.
Instagram, not as much, but TikTok's so good at it. And
Mhm.
so I start connecting with all these people that live in Knoxville and then they, now they know about these great businesses that just opened and like you just never know how whatever you're doing is going to connect with other people,
Mhm.
impact that might have on them and like having businesses like they'll find me and like thank me in the comment section or invite me over and I'm like it's not even it's like not I'm so happy that this can help you. I don't get
Yeah.
anything like, this is not for me. I'm not doing this to get money or anything. I had a weird comment. This is a sideline. I had a weird comment the other day. It was so odd that it was someone, like, mad about a video because there was in the background, there was someone, um, in the video, but in the background, and you really couldn't even see their face, and the comment was something like, "Look at you posting these other people without their consent for your own gain," and I was like, "Girl, I don't know what gain you're talking about. I'm not making a penny.
I am actually losing money by buying
I'm
this
actually."
equipment.
Yeah, I'm like investing money in this equipment and my
Yeah.
time, and it was a video at, like, a thrift store. I was just highlighting one of my favorite local thrift stores, and it was so funny, just that comment, because I think a lot of people have that notion with content creation of, like, "Just doing it for the money," and I'm like, "Do you even understand how hard it is to make money off content creation?"
Right.
I think on TikTok alone, you have to have, like, 10,000 followers before you even
Before you
have
can be monetized. Yeah.
a ti yeah, exactly. I was like, it's incredibly difficult, and I'm that's not what's going on here.
Right.
But I'm glad you watched my video, and maybe you'll go visit that local thrift store, you mean person.
I'm glad there's not a dislike button on Instagram or TikTok. There is on YouTube, and
There is
every
on
now and
YouTube.
again I get a dislike, and I'm like, wow, sorry I hurt your feelings.
Yeah, what happened?
Or somebody leaves a negative comment, and you're like, hide from channel, and then they can actually never find you again. That's what I do appreciate about YouTube. You can hide them from your channel, and they will never be able to find you again.
I've had
Free
to do
game.
that on TikTok. Had some weird people posting mean comments, and it wouldn't even have anything to do with the video. It was
Right.
really, like, trolling, I guess?
Mm,
Um, and that is another thing with, like, content creation. You have to accept, like, there are gonna be strange people that are gonna find your content, there are people that will have negative things to say, and that's okay. At the end
yeah.
of the day, it's okay. And if they're really obscene, there's this cute
Block.
thing called a block button. Yeah. Don't stress about it, though. Don't
Yeah.
stress. Okay, you know? And ultimately, this video might not be important to many people, but it could be important to one person, and that matters. You know, my book talk may not have been important to you, but it was important to Hyatt Hotel.
Right.
That got me.
Yeah. 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 No, for sure. And that's so good. Yeah. Like, gosh, I think that's like one of the biggest things I have to remind myself of. It's like, why are you like, you didn't start this for anybody else, you know? Like, if anything, I hope to help people, but like at the end of the day, like I'm not doing this for you, you know? I I have to get out of bed, hit record, and do the things. Like, you're not doing any of those things. So what do you mean? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good because it just reminds you. It keeps the why, like in front of you, keeps the main thing, and allows you to enjoy it and have the freedom of creating without wondering whether or not people think you're crap.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, you really have to do it for yourself. And I think that applies to everything that, like, even your career. Like, if you're doing
mm,
something to have a name for yourself or to make money, like, that's not a sustainable way to approach it.
no,
'Cause what happens when you do start making that kind of money?
yeah,
Is it important to you anymore? What's the
yeah,
next step? Like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And that's like one of the things I tell my students, like being in campus ministry, people think that it's all tell students like, you think I'm just, lifting Bibles around all day or I'm just reading books and then that's how I spend my time here in the office. Like, no, it's literally telling people like, hey, at the end of the day, this degree might not matter.
Mm,
You're gonna go and get this degree. I was having this conversation with a young man I was telling you about. It's like, dude, you might as well do what you want and let everything else go. If you do, if you go in a certain career or you go to make this amount of money and you do the things for those people or you go and make that amount of money, like you said, then you go, now what? And I think for me, like that's where calling and purpose kind of kicks in for me. It's like, all right, am I living into what my calling and purpose is? If that's yes, then I'm good. But if it's no, then well, I need to do some soul searching. Like, and I think having my faith has helped me a ton, to be able to discern what's necessary. But a lot of times people don't have faith, and I'm not, bashing that by any means, but I do think we have to have something. We have to have something that is greater than ourselves that allows us to do what we do. Would I prefer people put their trust in Jesus? Yes,
Mhm.
but also I'm not so rigid and I'm not so naive to think that everybody will, and I'm not so dogmatic to be mad at people if they don't. I think like at the end of the day, do you love people? Are you kind? Are you taking care of yourself? Like those are like some of my like core things. Like you
Mhm.
gotta love people. You gotta be kind. You have to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you will make the world a worse place. It is already bad enough. We don't need you making it worse. Okay, we need you making it better. Right. And my hope is that you take your little spots of hope and joy and love and share that and share it with the next person and the next person and so on and so forth. So yeah, but that's good stuff. So I guess like with that, has content creating just like has it just been a really good outlet for you to just I guess spread that, you know, that kindness and that joy? Has that been good for you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, yeah. It's a massive creative outlet. So I
Mhm,
think I'm a very creative person in general and always
mhm,
have been. And I always was drawn to like videography,
mhm.
video editing. I really enjoy just the entire process of it all.
Yeah,
And so that's been great for me. But it is fun to share stories with people and initiate conversations online. There's so many people, particularly on TikTok, that have things to say and they're willing to chat and share information. And I think that's
yes.
really fun. Yeah. And it can be really helpful. And I mean, TikTok now has even like become a search engine for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Like, that's how much content is on there, and you can just learn a lot and see a lot, and it's really great for also just learning about, like, new hobbies, things to try.
Mhm,
I follow a lot of other creators that are just inspiring. They're just
mhm,
fun comfort creators that make videos to help you try new hobbies or do this or do that or remind you that, you don't get a refund on lost opportunities and lost time. Like, take your risks, live life for you. I think social media can be really good for that kind of motivation, the negative sides of it. But I hope to like share, content like that too and connect with my other book talkers and inspire people to travel and then also accept the mundane things. That's another thing like I've found myself really enjoying is creating content that's just like very mundane. It's just
yeah,
an average day in life. And I think more people like to see that now because for a long time, social media was about the extravagance.
yeah,
People that have really unrealistic lifestyles
mhm,
are often very wealthy. And at the end of the day, it's just not the majority of human beings on this earth.
no,
And finding a way to enjoy that, to enjoy the little things in life. I've started leaning toward that content in terms of creating and following it. And I really like that so far.
yeah, no, for sure. Well, I guess to like kind of wrap us up, kind of transition, I always like to ask, like, do you have any questions for me? So now it like shifts from me being the host
Thank
and interviewer to like you. So any questions for me?
My questions for you. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. When this is very relevant for my life, as I mentioned, as fun as the content creation and the travel stuff is, life is also very hard in 2025.
Yeah.
I had, the separation, and then I lost Loafer, was a cat I had for 7 years. I lost him in the spring,
Mhm.
lost my marriage in the fall. Big, heavy things happening along with all of these really joyous things. How do you know that all of that is supposed to be happening? Like, how do you have faith that this is the route that you're supposed to be going? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's when you get into that big word we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
theodicy. And, post that class, I now understand a little bit more of theodicy. It's
Mhm.
stupid. But, short term and short answer for the short term, you don't know. You just don't. And the longer answer for the long term is, you have to sit in the anxiety of wondering, and that's really uncomfortable because it means like, well, what if? And And there's another author I read. He wrote this book called If, and it was a whole book of talking about the word if and how it could have a different connotation depending on how you position it and the words you position around it. It's very interesting. He goes, "What if means what if, right? Possibilities. If only means regrets, right?" And so, it's posturing myself that there are going to be a lot of moments where I go, if, right? If this thing happens, but I want to find myself asking what if more than I ask myself if only, because the if only, because it's like, well, if only, and I'll use myself as an example. If only I didn't have to wrestle with both of my grandmothers passing away within 2 months at 15. What would life have been like? If only my grandma would have stayed alive. If only she didn't have cancer and things went the way they did. If only you see the rabbit trail, like it just continues to flow. But I ask myself, what if I allow the time I had with her and her influence on me? What if I gave that to other people? Like, what if I just carried on her legacy and allowed myself to live into who she always reminded me who I was, like how she always told me I was loved and always, spent time with me and all those things. What if I shared that? And what if I allowed people to see that she's no longer here with us physically, but she is most definitely with us here, in spirit.
Mhm.
And what if I show that? And so when I go through other hardships of, man, like when I lost my job as being a youth director when I was 19, like, gosh, that was the season where I let a lot of if, a lot of if only, like, man, if only I would have been better. And I could have went down a really bad like place because it's like, how do you get fired from being a youth director? Long story short, I had to choose between my school and my job. As a cheerleader in community college, I had to make X amount of cheer clinics to maintain my scholarship.
Mhm.
And I could have been, I think the main thing is I could have been better about communicating. I had to be there, but also I felt like the church could have been a lot more graceful in saying, "Oh, this is a 19-year-old kid still," because I mean, at 19, you are not an adult. And I think I could have been given a little bit more grace. And I think there was a lot more happening than I realized and more than they wanted to be transparent on. But I really could have ruined me. I could have given up on ministry and I wouldn't like the amount of people I would not have met or the experiences I wouldn't have, the education I wouldn't have, because I could have let that stop me. And so I think like the main thing is looking to the other side. Like, okay, I'm going through this thing and yes, this is difficult and no, I don't want it. But what if on the other side of this there's something better, you know? And leaning into that, like so when I did go through the breakups, it was like I was always asking like, man, why did I have to love this person? Because I was always the softie.
Yeah.
Why did I have to love so hard? I dated and I wasn't like a short term dater. I like dated girls for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So like the two girls I dated before dating Mary and Kat, I dated them for both 3 years apiece. So that was
Wow.
6 years of my life spent on, you know.
Yeah.
But I kept going. Well, if I love them that much, imagine how much I'd love my person. So which I love Cat to pieces. And all my students know it, all my friends know it. I'll pick up the phone. She just texted me now, so her ears are burning.
Yeah.
Like like that's like I knew for me it was like there's more, and I
Mm.
and I mean that there's more and there's greater. Like if this hurts and it does, how much better will life be if I recognize it, I acknowledge it, but also hope and dream of more.
And what a blessing it is to love someone enough to be sad when they're gone.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. So I think that's kind of how I go about it, and that's a really good question because I think a lot of times we like glaze over that and skip past it. But I'm very much I like to sit in it, because I've run from it so many times that I recognize that wasn't good either. So I might as well sit in it. And there's this I use it with my students when they go through hardships. I don't know if you ever watched the Creed movies with like it was like the boxing with Michael B. Jordan. Well, anything with Michael B. Jordan in, you should just watch it, right?
That is
But
good.
Creed, in the second movie, he is like they go through this whole training montage like they do in all the boxing movies, which is why I love boxing movies because it's you see the work, right? It's like you're not, it's not just, oh, they woke up overnight sensation. No, it's like literally he had to fight, literally to get where he wanted to be. But they have this scene because he was going against Ivan Drago's son, who is just this big, brolic dude. And they go, all right, body shots are gonna be the tail of the tape, and you need to be able to take one because he's a pretty boy. It's like you need to be able to get hit because this was actually the second fight because he gets hit like and just knocked out,
Mm,
and so he was so it was like all right you're gonna and but they ended up DQing him so they had to fight again kind of thing.
yeah.
So like the first match didn't count. So they do this thing where they put a car tire down, and they make you fight toe to toe and say, if you leave this tire, you lose. And so the analogy is you have to get in the tire and you have to fight eye to
Mm,
eye, blow for blow. And it's like the thing of I'm not quitting. I'm gonna make you quit before I quit,
yeah.
and it's like that thing of I'm not gonna let this situation beat me. Like, yeah, it is gonna knock me around, but I guarantee by the end of it, I will be victorious. And that's kind of how I take a lot of things. Because, even with like me being in seminary, like I'm dyslexic, ADHD, cat thinks I need to be on medicine, like I can't read, but I still like do all these things, right? Like I can't focus, but I still do all the things because I cannot allow this to define me. I acknowledge it, but I can't allow it to define me and let it be victorious over me.
Mm,
So that's kind of how I go about it.
yeah. Okay, good answer.
So any more questions?
Uh, my goodness. I don't think so. I think that was the biggest one that was on my mind. So I always come to you and Kat for like philosophical advice, big world advice. I feel like y'all know
Yeah.
what to say.
Cat's the smarter one. Don't let her lie to you. She's the smarter one.
She is. She's well, y'all are both very smart, but she is very smart. And she
Yeah.
does love her death. Sometimes she be doubting herself. Can't do that,
No.
Kat. Don't do it.
Mhm. Yeah, don't get me started on her. Yeah, now she has to watch this entire episode so she can get to all of it.
All
I'm
of
gonna
that,
tell her.
just that one part.
Yep.
You're amazing.
Uh-huh. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us and yeah, look
Thanks
forward
for having me.
to when this comes out. So, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Be good, y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease.